Are you new to Blood Bowl 3 or a returning player and wanting to know more about the Skaven teams? I'm Controlled Chaos, and in this video that's exactly what we're going to talk about. Let's start with talking about the team members. The first one I want to talk about is the Rat Ogre. This is your big guy. This is the guy that everyone's going to worry about. Let's look at their stats first. They have a movement of 6, which is a decent movement, a strength of 5, which is a good strength. Then they have an agility of 4+. So trying to get them out of tackle zones or doing an extra long run might be chancy with them. They have no pass skill capability whatsoever. They cannot do anything pass wise. But their armor is a 9+, which is really good. Now, let's look at their abilities that they start with. First off, they start with Animal Savagery. And if you played Blood Bowl 1 or Blood Bowl 2, it was Wild Animal, which was just another word of saying, you know, the character just sort of plays dumb and doesn't know what to do. The difference between this and what used to be is that Animal Savagery, if it does that whole entire thing of doesn't know what to do, if there's an adjacent team member to him, anywhere around him, you can choose to attack that team member and will do knock them down. It can stun them, it can knock them out, it can injure them, and it can even kill them. So you gotta be careful with this and determine if you want to risk it. But what it does after it's done the action of attacking the teammate, you can then make it go do what you originally wanted to do, which is really nice. Next, it has Frenzy. So instead of just attacking once, it will attack twice. Then it has a Loner of a 4+. So when you go to try to do a reroll, it needs to be a 4+ reroll for it to sort of succeed. It has a Mighty Blow of +1. So it has a great strength capability of doing heavy hard hits. It has a pre-penciled tail, which means whenever someone tries to get out of a tackle zone that the Rat Ogre has it in, it has a -1 to dodge. So if it has an agility of 3, that means it has to roll a 3 or higher. That now means it has to roll a 4 or higher, which is really good. Now let's talk about the next character in the team that you can choose, which is the Blitzer. The Blitzer has a movement of 7, which is really good movement. It has a strength of 3, which is average. It has an agility of 3+, which is a little bit better than decent. It has a pass of 5+, so it can play the passing game, but it's not really good at it. It has an armor value of 9+, which is on par with the Rat Ogre. They can take some hits. These guys are the ones you use for tackling, and the reason being is they have the block capability, so they will not go down on a both down, which is great. Now let's talk about the thrower. The team gets a thrower, which is really great. It makes it for playing the passing game, and the throwers have a movement of 7, a strength of 3, which once again on average, an agility of 3+, which is good, a pass of 2+, which is really good, and a armor value of 8+, which is decent, but it gets pass, so it makes it easier on passing. What you get with pass is the player gets to reroll on a failed pass test. Then you have Sure Hands, and Sure Hands allows you to do a reroll when picking up the ball. So they're great for picking up and throwing the ball and getting it down the field. Now, we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about the Gutter Runners. The Gutter Runners are the ones that are really good at running the ball long distance because of their movement of 9. You can literally do a throw to the Gutter Runner, the Gutter Runner runs to another Gutter Runner, and that Gutter Runner can run to the end zone and do a down in 1 turn, which is amazing. Its strength is very weak of 2. Its agility is really great of a 2+. It can really get out of those tackle zones nicely. Then you have a pass of 4+. So it's not as bad as the Blitzer, but it's not as good as the thrower. It can still do somewhat of a pass game. Then it has an armor value of 8+. So they're a bit weak on that side, but they get dodge. So if you ever get that roll of the dice with the hit with the exclamation point, they're going to get pushed instead of knocked down, which is really good. So finally, I want to talk about the linemen. And the linemen are really good because they're just across the board average in a way. They got a movement of 7, a strength of 3, an agility of 3+, a pass of 4+, and armor of 8+. So a lot of the guys in the team are somewhat squishy except for your base build of guys. Now, I want to look at how you build up the teams. So as you can see here is team 1. And team 1 is a rat ogre, 2 blitzers, 1 thrower, 4 gutter runners, and 3 linemen. This is designed for really playing the ball game and pushing the ball down the field. That's the objective of this team. Now, when we're talking about formations, let's look at formations here. What you want to do is you want to take your gutter runner here and you want to move them to here. So you'll take this gutter runner, you'll move him to the center here. You'll then take your blitzers and you're going to put them right next to the gutter runner. You're going to then take the thrower and you want to put them in sort of back center area of the field. Then you're going to take your gutter runners and you're going to position them so that they're a bit forward like so. And let's grab another gutter runner here. So we got gutter runners right here. So we're going to take this gutter runner, we're going to put him here. We're going to take this lineman and we'll actually put him here. And then we got another lineman there. That's perfect there. Here's the gutter runner that we want to move here. And we're going to take this guy and we're going to place him here. This is a good formation to have. You could also move these guys back some because they run really well for the gutter runners. And so you could actually have a formation like so. And this works really well for an average team. Now, if you have a beating team, a team that's really going to hit hard, you might want to change this up a bit to protect your gutter runners because they'll get hit hard. And so in that situation, it makes it a bit tough because you're low on linemen to protect them. But once again, you're a running team. Now, let's go ahead and let's talk about the second team build out that we're going to do. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at a team here. And the way you want to build this team out is you want a rat ogre, 2 blitzers, a thrower, 2 gutter runners, and then the rest you want to be linemen. And the reason you want to do that is the linemen can take more of a hit. They're really good at doing that. And in that situation, what you want to do formation wise is, once again, you want to have your rat ogre in the center. Then you want to have your blitzers right next to him as before. After that, you want to take your gutter runners and you want to put them on the outsides like so. And then you want to take your linemen and you want to protect your linemen, have them protect that. Then you want to have your thrower be once again mid center, and then we're going to take this guy and place him in the middle. We're going to take this gutter runner. Actually, we're going to switch out this guy with this guy. So we have that all set up, and that's how you want to run this team in doing so. Have your guy runners, and what you might even think about doing is instead take this guy runner, move it in here, move him here, and then do the same thing on this side. Reason being is it's going to protect them up. Another thing you can do is you can put the guy runner right next to him like so, and it makes it really hard for the team to sort of hit and destroy that guy runner by itself, which is nice. Now, when we're talking about leveling these guys up, what you want to do, especially when you're talking about the rat ogre. The rat ogre, you have several options, and my suggestion is that the first ability you get him is either block or you get him claws, because he'll do more damage with claws. Then the second ability is the reverse of the other. After that, I would recommend having guard on him, and then because he's your beating guy, put things like pile driver, juggernaut, stuff like that, maybe even thick skull. You also have some other secondaries that you can put in here that'd be really nice, such as you can put horns on, because he's already a really strong guy. This puts a +1 on the strength if you put horns on him, which makes him even more of a beater. You could also put on iron skin, which increases his armor capabilities and stuff like that. And that works out really, really well. Now, when we're talking about the blitzers, what you want to do for the blitzers is the first skill you want to put on them is you want to put guard. That's very important that you have guard. After that, I would recommend maybe things like frenzy. Things like if you do mutations, do the horns, do the tentacles, and stuff like that. Maybe even things like the monstrous mouth, or not monstrous mouth, sorry about that. Ignore monstrous mouths. You want to do things like maybe even give them dodge. Would be very helpful for them, because then the only thing that could do is a knockdown or a move around, which would be really good. Now, for the gutter runners, there are several ways that you could run the gutter runners. If they're going to be playing the passing and running game, what I recommend is you get things like Sure Hands and go from there. You could also do things like getting in mutations. You can get very long legs, which helps them with leaping over. You can give them things like extra arms, which allows them to pick up the ball better. Bigger hands also ignores players doing pouring rain and stuff like that. You can get things that help out, such as improving their agility even more with 2 heads, and that's really nice. Now, if you want to turn one into sort of a passer, you can go into the passing bit too. But you want to be careful about doing that, because it is secondary. You mainly want to focus your abilities on things like leap and Sure Hands and stuff like that. Maybe even diving catch would be good. Sure-footed would be another good thing to get for them for doing those really super long runs. For your thrower, what you're looking there on adding in is you want to really focus on this pass game. You want to give them things like accuracy. You want to give them cannoneer. Running pass is a really good one. You got other things that are really good, such as on the ball and stuff like that. Play with that. And for secondaries, let's see if we have anything interesting here. For secondaries, that would be good for them. We have nothing in secondaries would be really good for them. It would be sort of a creative choice and going from there. But when you're doing your linemen, the first thing you want to give them is you want to give them block right away. Give your linemen block and then build them out based on whether you want to be more the running game or whether you want to be more of a blocking, tackling type of game, and maybe even spend some points in increasing their strength and things like that. Another thing I recommend for the blitzers, if you're really focused on doing the blocking game, is you want to get things like tentacles. You want to go ahead and get the horns, get the prehensile tails, because this all really helps out with all that kind of stuff. And going on, it really helps out. When building out the team, the other thing you want to make sure you do is you have an apothecary, because they are very fragile, and you also want to do a bunch of dice rerolls. Get dice rerolls when you get the chance. It will really help you out. Now, as I said in all my guides for Blood Bowl 3, be creative. This guide I'm giving you is just a suggestion and overview of the team. Build out to your strengths. If you know you're strong with a certain way of playing, play to that with this team. Surprise your enemy. You want to make them run really far, then do that. You want to make it a real beat up team, do that. Be creative, catch your opponents off guard, and play to your advantages. If you found this guide helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe, and have a great day.